Now let's examine how you can use cloud storage for unstructured data storage. Cloud storage is a fully managed, scalable service that has a wide variety of uses. A few examples include serving website content, storing data for archival and disaster recovery, and distributing large data objects to end users through direct download. Cloud storage's primary use is whenever binary large object storage, also known as a blob, is needed for online content such as videos and photos, for backup and archive data, and for storage of intermediate results in processing workflows. But what is object storage? Object storage is a computer data storage architecture that manages data as objects and not as file and folder hierarchy, file storage, or as chunks of a disk, block storage. These objects are stored in a packaged format that contains the binary form of the actual data itself, relevant associated metadata, such as date created, author, resource type, and permissions, and a globally unique identifier. These unique keys are in the form of URLs, which means object storage interacts well with web technologies. Data commonly stored as objects includes video, pictures, and audio recordings. Cloud storage is Google's object storage product. It allows customers to store any amount of data and to retrieve it as often as needed. In this lesson, we'll learn more about cloud storage use cases, features, and pricing. There are 4 primary storage classes in cloud storage, and stored data is managed and billed according to which class it belongs in. The first is standard storage. Standard storage is considered best for frequently accessed or hot data. It's also great for data that's stored for only brief periods of time. The second storage class is nearline storage. This is best for storing infrequently accessed data, like reading or modifying data once a month on average. Examples include data backups, long-tail multimedia content, or data archiving. The third storage class is cold line storage. This is also a low-cost option for storing infrequently accessed data. However, as compared to nearline storage, cold line storage is meant for reading or modifying data, at most, once every 90 days. The fourth storage class is archive storage. This is the lowest cost option, used ideally for data archiving, online backup, and disaster recovery. It's the best choice for data that you plan to access less than once a year because it has higher costs for data access and operations and a 365-day minimum storage duration. Although each of these 4 classes has differences, it's worth noting that several characteristics apply across all these storage classes. These include unlimited storage with no minimum object size requirement, worldwide accessibility and locations, low latency and high durability, a uniform experience which extends to security, tools, and APIs, and geo-redundancy if data is stored in a multi-region or dual region. So this means placing physical servers in geographically diverse data centers to protect against catastrophic events and natural disasters and load balancing traffic for optimal performance. Cloud storage files are organized into buckets. A bucket needs a globally unique name and a specific geographic location for where it should be stored, and an ideal location for a bucket is where latency is minimized. For example, if most of your users are in Europe, you probably want to pick a European location, either a specific Google Cloud region in Europe or else the EU multi-region. The storage objects offered by cloud storage are immutable, which means that you don't edit them, but instead, a new version is created with every change made. Administrators can either allow each new version to completely overwrite the older one, or keep track of each change made to a particular object by enabling versioning within a bucket. If you choose to use versioning, cloud storage will keep a detailed history of modifications, that is, overwrites or deletes, of all objects contained in that bucket. If you don't turn on object versioning, by default, new versions will always overwrite older versions. With object versioning enabled, you can list the archived versions of an object, restore an object to an older state, or permanently delete a version of an object as needed. Cloud storage also offers lifecycle management policies for your objects. For example, you could tell cloud storage to delete objects older than 365 days, or to delete objects created before January 1st, 2013. Or to keep only the 3 most recent versions of each object in a bucket that has versioning enabled, We'll look more closely at object lifecycle management a little bit later on. Cloud storage's tight integration with other Google Cloud products and services means that there are many additional ways to move data into the service. For example, you can import and export tables to and from both BigQuery and Cloud SQL. You can also store App Engine logs, Firestore backups, and objects used by App Engine applications like images. Cloud storage can also store instance startup scripts, Compute Engine images, and objects used by Compute Engine applications.